It's been a while since I did a Quest 3 news roundup. I actually haven't done one since Quest 3 was announced back in June. Today we're going to rapid fire recap everything we learned about Quest 3 since it was announced. Hours before I sat down to record this video, Meta and Roblox announced that Roblox was officially coming to the Quest platform. There'll be an open beta on App Lab a few weeks from when this video goes out. I have a full announcement video out already that I will link down below, but to summarize my thoughts, this is massive for VR as a whole. Roblox is the kind of big name IP we've wanted in the space for a while. Mainstream outlets are going to pick this news up, and there will be a boatload of new and renewed interest in VR. Hey, maybe even Bloomberg will write a positive VR article for a change. Yeah, probably not. Here in America, Quest 3 popped up as coming soon on big box retailer Best Buy with some details. I was bummed to find out the $500 Quest 3 base model will still have 128GB of storage. I was crossing my fingers and holding out hope for 256 as the base model and 512 for the bigger one. Having said that, I am one of the poor souls who bought the 64GB Quest 2, so this is still an upgrade for me. The Best Buy description also reads, quote, "See dazzling visuals come to life with a near 30% leap in resolution from Quest 2, end quote. The Quest 2's resolution is 1832 by 1920 per eye. A near 30% resolution increase lines up with the leaked information sadly as Bradley revealed months ago, and that puts us at over 2K per eye. Like all headset manufacturers, expect Meta to sell this as a 4K headset by combining the single eye resolutions together. This is nothing new, every VR company does it. Go look at HTC, Varo, Pimax, and Pico's websites if you don't believe me. Now for a bit of bad news. Meta CTO Andrew Bosworth does a monthly Ask Me Anything on his Instagram account, and a question came in about Quest 3's field of view. His answer was short, sweet, and disappointing.
It is roughly the same field of view.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it, this sucks. For those of you who have only used the Quest for VR and haven't experienced the Valve Index or some of the high-end headsets from companies like Pimax, the Quest 2's field of view is a pretty big step down, especially if you use glasses and have to use a glasses spacer, pushing the headset further away from your head. Quest 3 has a lot of positives going for it, this ain't one of them. Sticking with Bosworth, in June's Ask Me Anything, he was asked about how Quest 3's tracking will work.
This is the question I've gotten the most frequently, and I love it. Going back to the original Oculus Touch controllers, the ring on the outside is covered in a constellation of LEDs in a specific pattern that allowed the computer vision on the inside-out headsets to track the controllers in space. And so the new controllers that we have still have infrared LEDs on them in a constellation that you can't see because you can't see infrared light, but that the cameras that we have on the headset can see. However, they also are going to be in positions where many of those LEDs are occluded. And so we have fused the computer vision we were using for constellation tracking with our hand models. So the hand tracking is also going to kind of running at the same time. And so we have a model of your hand that tells us where the controller is in conjunction with all the tech tricks that we've been using for a long time, using IMUs and smoothing to fill in gaps. They work really well.
He said a lot here, enough to merit a full video. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see that video, but here's the short version. Right now on the Quest 2, to activate hand tracking, you have to put your controllers down and wait about 5 to 10 seconds, or tap the base of the rings together 2 times and hand tracking kicks in automatically. The difference is on Quest 2, when hand tracking starts, controller tracking stops. The second you hit a button on the controller tracking reactivates and hand tracking stops. What Meta is doing here is tracking both the controller's IR sensors and your hands at the same time. This is part of what that new XR2 Gen 2 chip will be processing. So the IR lights all over the controller get occluded, like if you're looking down scope of a rifle, your hand tracking along with the data from the gyroscopes and the accelerometers and magnetometers in the controller will still allow the headset to know what you're doing. They're also using their predictive artificial intelligence algorithm to do some of the tracking. If you're skeptical about any of this, remember 3 things. 1. Meta has been collecting tracking data on your controller for years, and all of that data fed into this algorithm. So until a developer creates a game where your controllers are in completely new positions from every other game ever played on the Quest, that algorithm is going to work pretty well. 2. Pick up one of your controllers right now. Go ahead, I'll wait. Now try to completely cover both that controller and the hand holding it with your other hand. You can't do it. Full occlusion is not possible. 3. A version of a predictive algorithm already exists in VR. What do you think happens when you reach your hand over your shoulder in The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners to pull your shotgun? Again, let me know down in the comments if you want to see a full video breaking down the tracking. Before I hit the final news, I'd like you to do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. I'm inching closer to 1,000 subs, at which point YouTube and corporate America will start paying me a few pennies a day to make these videos. So please subscribe to the channel and help fight the good fight against corporate greed. The final nugget, and the one I found the most interesting, was Andrew Bosworth's answer about why Quest 3 was announced so far ahead of its release.
No, what we found out, especially last year, was that when we announce a new headset in September, October, a lot of people, especially when you already have headsets out in market, a lot of people have already made buying decisions in the summertime, or they've kind of committed to a path, and so you're not capturing the full holiday season. And so we sent a note to Mark long before we even knew about WWDC timing or substance, that hey, for Quest 3 we want to announce it early, so that people know it's coming, so they can plan well in advance of the holiday season what they want to do. So that was our plan from a long time ago.
This feels to me like Meta learning the value of the hype cycle. We've seen other companies like Pico and Sony allow us to do VR headsets months ahead of release. What followed was a ton of media coverage, articles, videos from content creators, first impressions, everything you need to create a market for your product before consumers can get their hands on it. I believe Meta knows it has a mountain to climb for Quest 3 to come anywhere near Quest 2 sales, let alone surpass it. Building anticipation is one surefire way to do that. Last nuggets on Quest 3's battery power. Again, Bosworth was quick in response and crushed our souls.
It will be pretty consistent with Quest 2.
Yeah, that sucks too. There have been so many advancements in VR tech over the last few years, and I'd really like to see that extend to the battery. Maybe that's already happened and the increased processing power of these headsets is just eating up the extra charge. I don't know. I just want it to be better than 2 hours, which is basically industry standard at this point. So that's the rundown of the latest Quest news over the last month. If you like a full breakdown of the Roblox announcement, click the video on the screen right now. And as always, thank you for watching.